Let's stand together. That's a popular meme being shared more so by the Reggae Boys and football pundits around the world in support of the Reggae Boys as they are in negotiations with the Jamaica Football Federation about upcoming games like World Cup qualifiers and Gold Cup. Yeah, money, 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 contracts, contracts, contracts. The Jamaica Football Federation, to cut things short, actually handed a contract worth about $2,000 US per game to the boys, $1,000 extra if you win, $500 if you draw the match, and things like that, and other things that goes along with it. More so, that's the basic. However, the rebuttal from the boys saw them wanting $7,000 or a little less than $7,000 per game for the World Cup qualifiers. Yeah, for the World Cup qualifiers. Now, in 2015, the boys were actually paid about $5,000 per game, and 2016 about $2,500 per game, but that was for a tournament, not a World Cup qualifier tournament, which the Jamaica Football Federation were actually paid for the boys to attend that South American tournament in 2015 and 2016. So yeah, we do understand the boys got that money that time, but that was for a single tournament, not for World Cup qualifying. But as a player, you have to know your worth. And that's a very important saying. You have to know your worth. I saw the captain of the Reggae Boys, Andre Blake, on Sportsmax in an interview, and he said the JFF presented a contract which was ridiculous, so they had to start at a ridiculous level. No, he did not say if it was at the money he was referring to of $7,000. He wasn't specific with that, but I'm assuming that's what he meant. But if you're starting at 7, maybe you'll come down about 5,000 or so. The JFF themselves said they can't afford that, but you still have to know your worth. I've done some investigations with teams around CONCACAF region, and the JFF are right on par with a lot of the countries that actually pay their players for World Cup qualifiers in terms of how much money they get. The big thing is some of those teams will qualify for the World Cup and will get the bonus. So we don't know. But as I stated before, you have to know your worth. But the JFF, on the other hand, as an entity, as a ruling entity, a governing body, they have to know where the pros and cons financially and actually work out for themselves if it is that they can actually look on the contract or the negotiations or what is put forward from the boys to say 7,000 or 5,000 US per game to see if they can afford it. Because they have other responsibilities. They have about 9 teams or 10 teams under their umbrella. And all of them are trying to go to the World Cup or to the Olympic Games. So everything and every money you make can go to one entity. Everyone has to understand that, including the players. Now, so for instance, the boys get $5,000 or $7,000 a game, and the COVID is eased down and we can go back to attend the matches. How much money you think the regular man has to pay to watch a particular game, because the JFF has to recoup, because you're talking about over $20 million to pay the players per match, Jamaican that is. How much money will be charged for spectators to go in when it goes back to normal or semi-normal? I don't think anybody can afford it who normally goes to the bleachers. It's going to be a horrendous figure, because JFF will want to recoup some of the money they spend out, even if you have sponsors, which they don't actually at the present time. So it's going to be a tricky situation. So yes, the boys want money. Yes, the boys have to know their worth. But the JFF are running an organization that are responsible for not only the Reggae Boys, but the Reggae Girls who actually qualified for the World Cup. And they will want their money too, and they'll want their piece of the pie. However, for the JFF, they can't act like a backroom master situation. They can't come to the table and say, okay, take this and leave it. No, because you want the boys to pay. That's how tricky this is. In negotiations, you want those individuals, those players who have represented the black, green and gold for a couple of years now, you want them to play. Yes, we have heard the rumors about 13 young players from England coming down, and if the contract is not signed by these players, then you don't know what's going to happen. Are those 13 players going to just come right in? I don't want that. I want these players, Leon Bailey and company, to be representing Jamaica. However, everybody has to be reasonable. Not only the JFF, but also the players. Because think about the country and think about the persons in the country. That's the big picture, because you're playing for them. You're playing for us. You have to put things into context. So JFF, they have to deal with it, not militant. And the Boyz, I do understand what you've been through in the past, but not because you've been through in the past, they're going to be harsh for the future. You have to think on both ends. And I'm not only referring to the Boyz, but also the JFF. It's going to be a difficult road ahead. I want Andre Blake, man from Clarendon, to be repping between the sticks. The JFF and the Boyz need to come together, because I do not, and I say I do not want a second 11, or should I say this, the 13 from England or some of the local lads who have not played a game for the last year and odd be repping my colors against USA or other CONCACAF nations for World Cup tournament. No, sir. Me no want that. Me no want that go on at all. So work it out. We're gonna have to work it out the best solution possible for yourself, for the players, and for me, and for the country. Because I don't want to go back to the high school days where I used to jump fence, come over and jump in the bleachers. Because if that figure lands and the price for bleachers go up, I don't think I can afford it. And remember, gate 8, that's where I used to jump. Let's see what happens. Those are my views. What say you?